Bowen with Visibull Local SEO. When you want to get found, get results, and get phone calls, I'm the one you're going to want to talk to. This is the second installment of North Carolina Small Business SEO Clinic. These episodes are designed to help the small business owner who has built their own website. There are a few things I'm going to go through that will help this business show up online. We don't have time to cover every single thing that needs to be done for all of these websites. So I'm going to take the top 3 things as far as efficacy goes that will help improve their ranking and search results for the relevant keywords and key searches. I follow up with a checklist that goes into a little bit more detail and maybe some of the technical SEO and some other things that can help boost their search performance. But for now, we're just going to stick with those top 3 things. Without further ado, let's dive in and take a look at this website and see the top 3 things that we can do to help her. Okay, so this month we are working with my friend Robin at Orange Street Bookkeeping. If you want to work with someone who is brilliant and funny and a bookkeeper, she's the one you're going to want to talk to. So she's in Durham. She built this website herself using WordPress and Elementor, and I think that aesthetically she's done a fantastic job. Our task today is to look through this website and try to look at it as if we are a Google crawler and determine what Google crawlers are going to decipher from all of the information on this page. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to talk about relevancy. The first thing that you have to do is establish with the Google crawler how relevant you are for a search query. So when someone is searching for your business, your product, your service, are you going to match what Google is looking for? Because for it to determine the list of businesses that it's going to show on the search results page, you're going to have to prove that you're relevant. And how do you prove that you're relevant? There are signals throughout this page from the top to the bottom, and the hierarchy of these signals is what matters most. So we are going to take the top 3 things that we can improve that are going to be all about proving that you are relevant to the search query for bookkeeping in Durham. So let's focus first on the page title because it's going to be the easiest thing to talk about. What are page titles? If you can see what I'm looking at right here, when I click on the tab for your business, what is showing up in that tab? Orange Street Bookkeeping as a page title. It does have the word bookkeeping in it. That's great. So that establishes relevancy. But we also want to get Durham in there. So if you could find a way to say bookkeeping in Durham and then maybe the title of the business. I'm not going to do a lot of specific copywriting on the fly right now as far as how I would word that. But I am pointing that out as a thing that I would like to see customized. So you're going to go throughout your site and add page titles. How do you do that? You're going to add a SEO plugin. You have several choices. My preference is SEO Press. The page title of this page, the page titles of all of the pages need to be customized in a way that helps establish your relevancy to the search query so that Google will show your business name. You'll see here when I hover over the tab at the top of the screen, it shows you the title of this page. And by default, WordPress puts the title tag around the page title that's in the WP admin. When you add one of these SEO plugins, you'll have a meta box at the bottom of the page where you can customize that page title to more specifically target the keywords that you're trying to get. And keywords are basically the exact matches to whatever query the querent has asked. Again, we're trying to establish absolute relevance to the query. So if the query is about bookkeeping in Durham and your page title also says bookkeeping in Durham - Orange Street Bookkeeping, that's going to give a really strong signal to Google that you are relevant for this search. The other place where it displays if someone searches for, I just did a very on the nose search because I needed your business to show up. And right now, if I used any sort of generic bookkeeping terms, you don't show up. So for this example, the purpose is to just show you that these are your page titles as they show up in Google search results. Not only does it help the search engine understand that you're relevant for the search term, it also is what humans see when they get their search results. So if I am looking for Orange Street Bookkeeping and I see that this is Orange Street Bookkeeping, as a human, I know 100% I'm in the right place. So it does help the click-through rate as well. So now we've covered what page titles are, where they display, and why they're important to both humans and search crawlers. The next thing that we're going to talk about are headings. Headings, headers, headlines, H1 tags. There's a lot of different ways to talk about basically how visually we use fonts and styling to break up a web page. She's done a fantastic job with visually separating this so that it's easy to see at a glance and see what's happening. The main issue with these is that they are not headings. Like specifically, there's a specific tag called an H1 tag, an H2 tag, an H3 tag, and these are usually styled in the back end with the H1 being pretty large, the H2 a little smaller, and the H3 pretty smaller, H4, 5, 6, all on and on. It can be confusing when you're starting to build a website without knowing these particular terms and what they're used for. H1 is a specific tag that tells the web crawler this is what the whole page is about. When we're talking about how do I prove myself as relevant to this search query, someone has searched for bookkeeper and we've gotten the page title done. That's checked off our list. So our page title is going to have bookkeeper in Durham. Our H1 really needs to reflect that as well. And it needs to be on the nose. We can't be clever here, and that feels, I don't know, counterintuitive because you want to hit people with sort of an emotional pain point. And you've done that throughout the site, time and money. These are emotional pain points, peace of mind, clarity. These are all things that we would like to see. Also, the web crawlers do not understand any of that. What we need to do with services is change this P tag. It's a paragraph, and I like the size of it. I would space it a little further down from the image. Just give it a little bit of breathing room there, but change that to something that says a little bit more than services. Let's just say we were going to use this same font as the paragraph tag that it is currently right now, so you're not changing a thing, but you're going to say, ready to get your ducks in a row? Question mark. And then underneath that, bookkeeping services in Durham at your service. However you want to write that, but that would be in the H1. Now I know when you go into your editor, the H1 is probably going to be really large, bold, who knows with this particular theme how your H1s are set up, but you can change that. So what we said, want to get your ducks in a row, that would be like your headline, and it tells the search engines nothing. This site is not about ducks, it's not about rows, it's not about any of those things. So that is a throwaway line for the search engines, but it's important for humans to get that emotional like tug. Okay, and then underneath that, the search engines are going to read the H1 tag that says bookkeeping services in Durham, and we are golden. Right now, there are no headers on the home page at all. Headers, headings, H tags, except for these. Each of these are H3s. This is certainly on the nose, and I think that is perfect. And then I would take that to a page that is about your monthly bookkeeping services, everything that you want to say about how you can help small businesses with your monthly services. Clean up and catch up last year's books. Clean up and catch up is vague. It's clever and it's fun, but it doesn't tell the search engines what we are doing. If you are trying to help people prepare for tax filings or obtain financing, whatever it is that you're promising here with the cleanup and catch up, whatever you're preparing them for, I would be very, very specific about that in the heading, because again, these types of things are for the search engines so that they can determine that you're relevant. I'm going to say the word relevant about 1,000,000 times in this video, and I hope you can forgive me for it. So, business setup in QBO, that is fantastic. What a great one. That is very on the nose. It's also short so that when you can click through to that page, and yes, I'm recommending you build out a page for your business setup in QBO. There are lots of small businesses looking for this service. Creating a page about that, you'll have your H1 again, reiterate the information that's here so that when Google is looking for someone to set up someone's business in QuickBooks that's also in Durham, you're probably going to be on page 1. That's the goal with all of these headers. Back to H1, H2, and H3. H1 is, what is this entire page about? We want the H1 to be the umbrella of everything beneath. H2s are sections. These are sections of the page. What is this section about? And I do love this emotional punch of time and money, and I love peace of mind. I love what you've done here with giving that promise to your website visitor, because that I understand as a human. But we're back to the same problem we had up here with search engines are looking for near to exact matches. People say exact matches don't matter anymore, but they do. So proving that you're relevant over and over and over again to that specific search. Time and money, I would use that. It's not going to mean anything much to the search engines. So the H2 underneath that, with that tag of being a heading, I would say hire a bookkeeper for a fraction of the cost. Okay, so now that we're done with that section, I would follow the exact same process for the rest of these sections on the website. For peace of mind, I would keep peace of mind because I think it's really wonderful. And then below that, I'd have an H2 that might say something like, make sure your bookkeeping is done right. And then I would create a page that explains how I can fulfill that promise that I am going to do your bookkeeping right. And clarity, same process, work through that, having all of those branch off to different pages. So far we've covered page titles and we've covered headings and the importance of headings. This is your main menu. In general, I do like to make sure that the menu items themselves also are going to send the signal to Google about relevant things. So that's back to making your list of what are the relevant things I want to show up for. You're going to want to try to get all of those keywords in a way that doesn't seem spammy. The third thing we're going to talk about is the URL. So what we call these are pretty permalinks. Nobody understands what that means. The URL is this up here. And you can see right now it just says page ID equal 102. There is a very easy fix for this. You just have to go into the WordPress settings to permalinks, and then you're going to click the radio dial that says post name instead of what it's doing right now, which is just the page ID. That's going to make this URL, instead of reading bookkeeping.com/page ID equals 102, it's going to say bookkeeping.com/services or whatever your page title is. And that's where you want your URL and your page title to not necessarily say the exact same thing, which is why we want custom page titles and custom URLs. So to summarize everything, first thing you're going to need to do is work on your page titles. And second thing you're going to need to do, add headers, headings, H1 tags, H2 tags, And then the third thing is work on the URL structure so that when they go to services, it'll be orangestreetbookkeeping.com/whatever the page name is. Those are the 3 things that I need you to do on your website. Okay, the 4th thing I'm going to need you to do is create a Google business profile. You're not going to show up in the map pack at all until you have one of these. And all you have to do is go into Google and search how to create a Google business profile. It's that I searched create a Google business profile, and then I clicked on the create your profile, Google business profile. And then you get to this page, click the get started, and you're only going to have to follow instructions. So there's no particular skill set you're going to need in order to get this filled out and published. The only caveat here is that you have to be able to prove that you are a business and that this is your business name. As you're filling it out, if you have your legal paperwork that shows that this is my business name, this is the address for the business name, this is the phone, it's going to ask you to verify your business address. Again, none of this is rocket science, but it is something that has to be done. Google needs to make sure that the businesses it recommends in the map pack are official businesses. It would be a bad business practice if it didn't. So as a warning, in general, don't even bother trying to fill out a Google business profile right now until you get all of that paperwork in place. Once you have that up and running, we can talk about how to optimize that for proximity, prominence, and relevance when we're ready. I've had a lot of fun today, and I hope that it helps Orange Street Bookkeeping improve their ranking in Google search results so that they can get found, get results, and get phone calls. My whole goal here is to help her grow her business. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I really appreciate it.